Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Greg here from Kinobody.com, and I'm just breaking my fast with an apple. That's my little trick, is I'll break my fast with an apple, which will help me go another couple hours before my big meal. I'm breaking the fast, but I'm just able to push that first meal later, and it's about like 6:30 or 7 right now, so it's been a long fast, getting all kinds of lean. But that's neither here nor there. The point of this video is I want to talk about a question I get asked all the time. Can women do intermittent fasting? Can women IF? And some people talk about that women have different hormonal mechanisms which make fasting unproductive. But the reality of the situation is some women do amazing on IF. Some women do awesome, and some women hate it. And so there's no sense in getting tied to your sex and gender, because that's not the most important factor. The most important factor is, do you do well in IF? Some guys don't like IF. They hate it. I'm not going to argue the fact. So forget about the fact that you're a man or woman, and kind of just go with what feels right for you. For me, I love fasting. It makes staying lean so enjoyable because I can eat massive meals. It makes me more dedicated, because I have that just that break from eating just really gets me focused and everything. So what I would say is, what you need to ask yourself, whether you're a guy or girl, is, does fasting make eating more enjoyable? Does it make your life better? Does it make you more satisfied on a cut? And if it does, and you feel awesome fasting, then go for it. If you can't do fasting well, if you're starving all the time, if you're hungry, if you can't think about anything but food, then maybe fasting's not for you. That said, most people will have an adaptation period. So for most people, what I find is that there's about a 3 to 2 week phase where their different hormones adapt to going longer periods of time without eating. Once that happens, fasting is a breeze, and you can make life way easier. So if you're a girl or guy and you've been struggling with fasting, I'm going to give you a few tips that can make fasting really easy. The first of which is, I really recommend forgetting about the eating window. I've talked about this in other videos, but it's worth saying again. Forget about the eating window, forget about how long you're fasting for. The goal is to simply push your first meal later into the day. And if you get hungry and you can't stop thinking about food, well, eat something. Find something that helps satisfy you with less calories. So for me, if I'm hungry and it's earlier, I'll have some fruit, and like an apple, for example. But the main goal is to give yourself a lot of room for calories later in the day. Oh, it's so good. Apples taste so good when you've been fasting for a while. So goal is to give yourself tons of room for calories later in the day. And so let's say you're a girl and you wake up at 7 in the morning and you're hungry around 10 a.m. That's not bad. That's 3 hours fasted. That's going to help give you more room later in the day. So by all means, break your fast. Maybe have some Greek yogurt, maybe have some eggs, or maybe just have an apple and see if you can push it till 1 o'clock or lunchtime. Then have your lunch, and then have dinner at like 6, and then another small meal later at night. Like, that's awesome. And also say, use some coffee with your fast. So I just drink coffee during the fast, and I drink it slowly, and I find that helps blunt my appetite. So what I would do is see how long you can go during a fast without coffee. So let's say you wake up at 7. Don't have coffee right away. Go till 8, go till 9, and then maybe you're like, okay, now I'm getting hungry. Then have some coffee. That'll help you push it in a few hours. So my trick is I only use coffee as an appetite suppressant. I use it every day, but solely as an appetite suppressant. So I don't use it right away. I use it a couple hours into my fast so I can go longer. This makes this intermittent fasting thing so easy. I don't do 20-hour fasts. I don't do 24-hour fasts. I find them unenjoyable, and I get hungry, so I can relate to you if you don't like fasting. My approach is simply to fast 4, 5, 6 hours after waking. And some days I'll fast longer. Like today, for example, it's like 6:30 and just broke it. And some days I'll break fast earlier. So it really depends on different factors, and it depends on how you're feeling that day. So don't become tied to any rules. So that's all I want to talk about. If you're a guy or girl, you can definitely do fasting, but you give yourself time to adapt to it. And if you find it makes things easier, stick with it. Keep doing it. And if you find actually you have a better time eating breakfast, then eat breakfast. And so in my Goddess Toning program for girls, which is an awesome program, it's really effective about building like a great physique and you know, getting lean in an enjoyable way, well, there's two options. There's an option to do intermittent fasting and just have coffee in the morning, and then there's the option to break your fast, to eat breakfast with a small meal while still providing more calories later in the day. So it works both for women that love fasting, and it works well for women that hate fasting. If you want to check out the Goddess Toning Program, you can go right there. But really, that's all I wanted to leave you with. Forget about the fact that women hormonally are different, because the reality is some women do awesome at fasting, some women don't. Some guys do awesome at fasting, some guys don't. And just see what works really, really well for you. Now, the one issue with women is if they're doing fasting and they're not getting enough calories, they're not hitting proper amount of calories and macros for the day, then sure, they might have issues hormonally, and they might miss their period. But that's not from fasting per se, that's just because they're not eating enough. And so fasting can make it really easy not to eat much because you're taking a huge break from food. So if you're a girl that has a really small appetite, then you'd want to be careful fasting because it can just exacerbate your hunger. And for that reason, I'd recommend either getting used to eating more food and maybe eating more frequently once you start breaking your fast. So instead of having like 2 meals during the day, maybe have 3 and a small snack once you break your fast. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. If you have any questions, comment below, and try not to be dogmatic with anything. So like, yes, I love fasting. It's improved my life so much. I've helped thousands and thousands of people through my videos, my article, my podcast, my courses, use fasting to great success. But I'm not going to tell someone that hates fasting that they have to fast to get in shape, because that's wrong. That's ludicrous. As far as getting lean is concerned and getting that body fat down and getting the abs popping, well, it's really a matter of hitting that calorie deficit and getting an optimal amount of macros, proteins, fats, and carbs. Fasting helps with that a lot. It has other benefits, which I've talked about in other videos: fat mobilization, growth hormone, nutrition partitioning. But that's like the icing on the cake. The main pushes for progress is that calorie deficit as far as fat loss is concerned. Anyways, this video has gone on way too long. I will talk to you soon. Bye.